Welcome, dear viewers, to a powerful and life-changing story that reveals the greatness, love, and mighty power of God. A story that has touched hearts for generations and continues to inspire faith, courage, and hope in both young and old. Today, we are about to journey into one of the most amazing moments in the Bible. The story of how God used Moses to part the Red Sea and deliver his people from danger, fear, and oppression, showing the world that when God steps in, nothing is impossible. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to this channel, because here we share powerful stories, inspiring messages, and life-changing lessons that will strengthen your faith and bring peace to your heart. And don't forget to like and share this video so others can also be blessed by this message. Now, sit back, relax, and open your heart as we begin this wonderful story. Long ago, in the great land of Egypt, where the children of Israel lived under heavy suffering, painful oppression, and endless labor that drained their strength day after day, the people cried out with deep sorrow, lifting their voices in desperation because they felt forgotten, weak, and unable to save themselves. Yet God, who is full of mercy, compassion, and unfailing love, heard every cry, saw every tear, and in his divine timing, decided that the moment had come to deliver his people from bondage and lead them into freedom. Far away from the noise, pain, and struggles of Egypt, in a quiet and peaceful land called Midian, where the air was calm and life was simple, there lived a humble man named Moses who spent his days caring for sheep, walking through the wilderness, and living a life that seemed ordinary, not knowing that God, who sees the future and prepares people for great purposes, had chosen him to become a leader who would carry out one of the greatest miracles the world would ever witness. One day, as Moses walked along the mountain while tending his flock, something unusual and wonderful caught his attention, because right before him was a bush that was burning with fire. Yet the flames did not destroy it, and as Moses moved closer with curiosity and amazement filling his heart, the voice of God, powerful yet gentle, called out from the fire, saying, "Moses, Moses." And Moses, filled with awe and reverence, answered, "Here I am." God then spoke to Moses with words full of purpose, power, and love, telling him that he had seen the suffering of his people in Egypt, had heard their cries, and had come down to rescue them, and that Moses, despite his fears, doubts, and feelings of unworthiness, was chosen to lead them out, reminding him that it was not about his strength, but about God's power. Because when God is with you, you are never alone, and nothing is impossible. Moses felt afraid and unsure, questioning how he could face such a great task, yet God reassured him again and again that he would be with him, guide him, strengthen him, and perform mighty works through him, teaching us that God often calls ordinary people to do extraordinary things, not because they are perfect, but because he is perfect. With a heart that carried both fear and faith, Moses returned to Egypt along with his brother Aaron, who stood beside him as a helper and speaker, and together they walked into the presence of Pharaoh, the powerful king whose authority ruled over the land, yet whose heart was filled with pride and stubbornness that made him unwilling to listen to God's command. Standing boldly before Pharaoh,
the God of Israel
Moses delivered God's message with courage that came from divine strength.
The Lord will unleash plagues upon Egypt if you refuse. Your threats mean nothing.
Yet Pharaoh refused, showing no respect for God's authority, not realizing that no human power, no matter how great, can ever stand against the will of the Almighty. Because Pharaoh hardened his heart, God began to reveal his power through mighty signs and wonders that affected all of Egypt, including turning water into blood, sending darkness over the land, and allowing other powerful events to take place, each one showing clearly that God is in control of heaven and earth. Yet Pharaoh continued to resist, showing how pride can blind a person from truth. But God, who is patient yet powerful, continued his plan without failing,
proving that his promises are sure and his word never returns empty. Until finally Pharaoh, overwhelmed by the greatness of God's power, allowed the Israelites to leave, and the people, filled with joy, relief, and gratitude, began their journey toward freedom, knowing that it was God alone who had saved them.
The journey begins. As the Israelites began their journey, walking together as families filled with hope and expectation for a better future, God showed his loving presence by guiding them in a miraculous way, appearing as a cloud during the day to lead and protect them from the heat, and as a pillar of fire during the night to give them light and comfort, reminding them that he was always near. However, as they continued forward, a sudden danger appeared behind them, because Pharaoh, whose heart had once again changed, decided to chase after them with his army. And as the Israelites looked back and saw the soldiers approaching, fear filled their hearts, causing them to panic and question why they had left Egypt. In front of them was the Red Sea, wide and impossible to cross. And behind them was the army, strong and dangerous, leaving them feeling trapped and helpless. Yet in that moment of fear, Moses stood firm and spoke words of faith, telling the people not to be afraid, but to stand still and trust God, because he was about to do something great. This moment teaches us that when life feels impossible, when fear surrounds us, and when there seems to be no way forward, God is still working, preparing a miracle that we cannot yet see. The Red Sea parts. At the very moment when all hope seemed lost and there appeared to be no way out, God spoke to Moses and told him to stretch out his hand over the sea. And Moses, without hesitation, obeyed God's command, showing that true faith means trusting God even when you do not understand what he is about to do. As night fell, God sent a powerful wind that blew across the sea, and slowly the waters began to divide, creating a dry path in the middle with walls of water standing tall on both sides. A miracle so small and beyond human understanding that it revealed the greatness of God's power. The Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground, step by step, with hearts filled with wonder, realizing that God had made a way where there was no way, protecting them and guiding them safely to the other side, proving that nothing can stop God's plan. When the enemy tried to follow, God instructed Moses to stretch out his hand again, and as he obeyed, the waters returned, covering the army completely. And in that moment, God gave his people total victory, showing that he not only makes a way, but also defeats every enemy. When the Israelites reached the other side and saw that they were safe, their hearts were filled with joy, gratitude, and amazement. And they began to sing songs of praise to God, celebrating his power, love, and faithfulness in delivering them. Moses led the people in singing, declaring that God is their strength and salvation, while Miriam led the women in dancing with joy, creating a beautiful celebration filled with music, thanksgiving, and happiness. This story reminds us that God is always able to help his people, no matter how difficult the situation may seem, because he is a God who makes a way, brings peace, gives victory, and never fails those who trust him. Even today, God is still working miracles, still guiding his people, and still showing his love. And if we trust him, believe in him, and follow his ways, he will lead us through every challenge and bring us into victory. No matter what you are going through right now, remember this powerful truth. God can make a way where there is no way. As we gently arrive at the end of this powerful and unforgettable story, the story of how God used Moses to part the Red Sea and lead his people from fear into freedom, from danger into safety, and from uncertainty into victory. take a quiet moment to let the meaning of everything you have heard sink deeply into your heart. Because this is not simply a story to be remembered, but a truth to be lived, a message to be held on to, and a light that can guide you through every season of your life. This story is more than history, more than words, and more than events that happened long ago, because it carries within it a living message that speaks even today, reminding us that the same God who moved with power in the past is still moving today, still working in ways we may not always see, and still showing his love and faithfulness to those who trust in him, even when life feels uncertain, confusing, or overwhelming. There are times in life when we find ourselves standing exactly where the Israelites once stood, in a place where the future looks unclear, where the path ahead seems blocked, and where the pressures of life feel like they are closing in from every side, leaving us feeling trapped, unsure, and afraid, wondering how we will move forward and how things will ever change. And in those moments, it can feel as though there is no way out and no hope in sight. But this story reminds us of something powerful, something life-changing, and something deeply comforting, that even when we cannot see a way, God is already making one. Even when we feel stuck, God is already moving. And even when we think it is over, God is just beginning to reveal his power in ways we could never imagine. God does not think the way we think, and he does not work the way we expect, because while we look at situations and see obstacles, limits, and impossibilities, God looks at the same situation and sees opportunity, purpose, and a moment to display his greatness, his wisdom, and his power in a way that will not only change our situation, but also strengthen our faith. When Moses stood before the Red Sea, he did not have all the answers. He did not see the full plan, and he did not know exactly how everything would happen. But what he did have was trust in God, and that trust became the key that unlocked the miracle, teaching us that faith is not about knowing every detail, but about believing in the one who holds every detail in his hands. Sometimes, God allows us to come face to face with situations that feel too big for us, not to defeat us, but to show us that the victory does not come from our strength, our wisdom, or our ability, but from him alone, because it is in our weakness that his strength is revealed most clearly. And it is in our moments of doubt that his faithfulness shines the brightest. And when the sea finally opened, when the path appeared where there had been none, and when the people walked through what once seemed impossible, it became clear that God had been in control the whole time, working behind the scenes, preparing the miracle, and waiting for the moment to reveal his power in a way that would leave no doubt that he alone is God. In the same way, there may be things in your life right now that you do not understand, situations that feel delayed, prayers that seem unanswered, and paths that appear blocked. But this story reminds you to hold on, to keep trusting, and to believe that God is not finished. Because even when you cannot see it, he is still working, still preparing, and still making a way. Do not allow fear to take the place of faith. Do not allow doubt to silence your hope. And do not allow the challenges you face to make you forget the power of the God you serve. Because he is not limited by time. He is not restricted by circumstances. And he is not defeated by obstacles. For he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The God who parted the Red Sea is still able to part the challenges in your life. The God who led his people through danger is still able to lead you through your own storms. The God who brought victory where there was fear is still able to bring peace where there is worry. So even when life feels uncertain, even when the road ahead is unclear, and even when you feel like giving up, choose to stand firm, choose to trust, and choose to believe. Because your story is not over. Your breakthrough is still coming, and your miracle is still in motion. And when your moment comes, when the path opens, when the fear fades, and when you finally see how everything has worked together for your good, you will look back and realize that God was with you every step of the way, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing something greater than you could have imagined. You will have your own story to tell, your own victory to celebrate, and your own reason to lift your voice in gratitude and say that God has done it again, that He has made a way, that He has shown His power, and that He has proven once more that He never fails. So hold on to this truth, carry it with you every day, and let it give you strength whenever you feel weak, hope whenever you feel discouraged, and peace whenever you feel afraid. God can make a way where there is no way, and He will never leave you nor forsake you, because His love is constant, His power is endless, and His faithfulness will remain forever. If this story touched your heart, inspired your faith, or reminded you of God's power, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring and life-changing stories.